What is up guys, and welcome back to MPC Vids. Now this is probably the first kind of unique content and tutorial that I've done on this channel, so it's great to be finally doing this stuff on the MPC and on this channel as well. So in this video what I want to talk about is adding sidechain compression to your beats. Now this isn't very straightforward on the MPC, but it is possible to do using an effect called Mother Ducker, and basically it's the case of adding it in the right places so that it sidechains against whatever you want it to sidechain against. So typically when we're talking about hip hop or lo-fi hip hop, we want the kick to sidechain against the sample. So that's what I'm going to do in this example. You may have to do a little bit of figuring out yourself depending on how you've got your track set up and how you've got everything structured, but it should make sense what I show you here and you should be able to easily work out what you need to do. So I've got a little beat project here which I've been working on. Okay, so a basic little Rhodes loop with a drum loop behind it, and what I'm going to do is show you how you can sidechain. So the first thing that I'm going to do is here on track 1. So this is where I've got my chops. You can see here it says new sample 1 channel. It's not very well named. This should just be named chops basically. They're on channel 1, and the first thing that I'm going to do is hit this little eye icon up at the top. And if you click this four square symbol, and you see there's a box below called inserts. Now what I'm going to do is insert something here. I'm going to insert the Mother Ducker. So I'm going to click in there and it presents me with the effects window. I'm going to click on the first one and I'm going to go to Kai Professional. And I'm going to scroll down until I find Mother Ducker.
2 weeks later.
So for this particular track I'm going to choose Mother Ducker, not Mother Ducker input. That's going to be the one we put on the kick. So we're going to choose Mother Ducker. And let's just have a look what that looks like. And it's saying it's going to come from bus 1. Okay, so these are the settings for the Ducker, and we're going to come out of that now, back to main. And now I'm going to go to my drums. Now, I was lazy and recorded all my drums onto one track, so I'm going to have to find the kick sample which I've used, which is the first pad, it's A1. So I'm going to have to change where I am here. So this is where your workflow may differ. If you've got a track dedicated to your kick, then you can just pop it on the track instead. I'm going to have to actually put it on the pad. So I'm going to change where I am here. I'm going to click the little square at the top. And again, we get inserts. So I'm going to put the Mother Ducker import on here. And now you can see it on this window that this is going to get sent to bus 1. Okay, so let's go back to main, and I want to get back to the sample because that's where we're going to be doing the sort of calibration. So here we are back on Mother Ducker, and let's start playing this loop and we can see what happens when this is playing. Now you can see there that the little duck icon in the center is already bobbing up and down, so it's definitely working already, and it's pulling down the velocity of the main sample as it's working. So as you can see here now on the left hand side of the screen, we can use the Q link and we can change all the parameters that we want to change here. Now when I start messing around with the ratio, you'll hear the difference that this makes. You can really tell that this side chain compression is in full flow. So let's start the loop again and I'll play around with the parameters and I can show you that this is definitely 100% working. Okay, so when it gets to this side of the process, this really is now a case of personal preference. It depends how much of a pump you want on your beat. It depends how much you want that kick to really cut through the mix. Now, as you could hear there, you can change the ratio, the attack, the threshold, and you can get it to a point where the sample completely goes silent when the kick's hitting. So I was basically just showing you that as an example. I wouldn't recommend going that intense with the compression. Just get that little sweet spot where you can hear that the kick's cutting through the mix, but you can't really tell that the sample's dipping out too much. Again, like I say though, it's all down to personal preference, but as a general guide for a beginner, that's what I'd recommend you do. You don't want the sample going completely silent as the kick is hitting. It really doesn't have a nice vibe to it, as you could tell from when I was messing around with it probably. But like I say, it is personal preference. If that's the sound you want for a particular beat, if that works for a particular beat, then there's no rules to making beats, obviously. So experiment and get the sound that you want. So I'm going to have another play around now and get this to a point where I'm happy with the sound that it's actually generating, rather than just showing you guys what this can do. Okay, I'm happy with that sound. The only problem is now I think that the kick was sounding a little bit too loud. So I'm going to change the mix a little bit. The first thing I'm going to do is go to the track where the drums are. That's track 2 on the main screen. And then I'm going to hit mix. And now you can see I've got all my drum sounds here, and I can reduce the level of the kick a little bit. And as I mentioned earlier, again, this is all just personal taste. I've just brought that kick down a little bit so it's not too overpowering. It just sits nicely in the mix. Okay, that's it for this one, guys. I just wanted to show you how you could set up the Mother Ducker. Like I mentioned, be careful if you've got your drums set up on separate tracks. You will have to go to the individual track. Because all my drums are on one track, which you can see here, they're all on track 2. I've had to use the pad for the effect instead of the track. So it's a little bit easier to organize if you've got everything on a track. I was just being lazy when I made this beat. I assigned the Mother Ducker to the track that the sample was on, and then I assigned the Mother Ducker input to the kick of the drum. Assigned it specifically to that pad. And as you could hear when they were applied, you really do get that nice dip on your sample, and the kick can cut right through the mix. Thank you very much for watching. If this was useful and you like these kind of videos and tips on the MPC, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I drop videos every Wednesday. Please hit that thumbs up if this was useful, as that helps in the algorithms. And let me know in the comments below, do you use the Mother Ducker on your samples? Is there another way to do this better? I'd love to hear. I know there's probably many ways to do the same thing on the MPC, so it'd be interesting to hear what you guys say about that. Well, until next time, guys, keep making beats on your MPCs, and I'll be back with more tips soon. Peace!